First off, I want to start this video by apologizing for the fact that I haven't posted a video in a week. The reason for that is because I've been out of town with family, so I haven't been able to do any car-related things. But don't worry, because we're back with an awesome install today. These are JDL Auto Design catless headers. This was not a sponsorship or anything like that. We paid for these, but this is a part that I've been looking forward to since the day I bought this car. Honestly, I think that this might be the install that I've looked forward to more than anything on this car, even the coilovers and like the wheels and tires, because not only is this going to add a little bit of power and a decent amount of power after the tune, but this is going to make the car sound awesome because it's removing the biggest cat in the car, and also they're unequal length, so it's going to have a lot more of that Subi rumble.
That sounds good. He's been talking about this nonstop.
No, seriously, I am so excited for this. I just want to get to the install. We are going to do this as an install video. It's not just going to be like a vlog. So we're going to walk you guys through it and how to do this install step by step. Really quick though, talking about these headers, they look awesome. Like, they look great. You may be asking why they're black, and the reason for that is because they're ceramic coated, and what that does is the engine gets really hot and it sends that heat through the exhaust. And instead of this radiating the heat into the engine bay, this ceramic coating acts as like
an insulator.
Yeah, an insulator, and it keeps the heat inside running through the exhaust to get the engine bay a little bit less hot. So on those track days when I'm out running at like 100 degrees and I'm pushing the engine as hard as I can, this will help transfer the heat outside of the car instead of into the engine bay. The only part that you need to install this that isn't something that you might have in your garage already is an oxygen sensor socket. So on the headers right here in these little holes, there are oxygen sensors. There are oxygen sensors, and the oxygen sensors work to tell your car if like the airflow and everything is going well. So you're going to have to remove the ones from the stock headers and put them onto this, and you need a special socket to do it so you don't damage it. Hopefully we don't run into any issues. I mean, like, how hard can it be? So right now I'm going to play you guys a sound clip of what the car sounds like now. It's not stock. It does have a catback exhaust, which changes the sound a little bit, but the headers are going to be a big difference in the sound. So here's the clip of what it sounded like originally, and then after the install, we'll show you guys what it sounds like after. So the first thing that you're going to need to do for this install is remove the skid plate that covers the area that you need to access the headers. So it's like the farthest front skid plate in the car. It's really easy to see. It's also the one that has the hole in it for the oil. And you're going to need to remove 7 clips, 8 12mm bolts, and then 4 10mm bolts, and then you can just pop it off. So ugly. So these are the stock headers, and you can see how massive they are compared to the other ones that I got. I believe it's like a 8 or 9 pound difference between these ones and the ones that I got. So it's also going to help with weight in the car. So the next step after you remove the skid plate is to spray the bolts with PB Blast. So the ones that you'll be spraying are the 2 right here that connect the headers to the rest of the exhaust, and then there's 3 on each side of the car. So there's 3 right here, and then there's 3 right here. So I was having a hard time explaining which bolts you should be spraying with PB Blast when you're removing the OEM headers, because the OEM headers were kind of blocking the view of them. So now that the OEM headers are removed, I'll show you guys which ones you need to spray. So 1, 2, 3, and then also 1, 2 right here connecting the front pipe. And then 1, 2, and 3. So that's a total of 8 bolts. Those are the ones you need to spray with PB Blast.
Hey Oren,
Yes.
This is a mighty fine bowl of nut you've made here.
Oh, thank you. I just like nut in the butt. In the butt. I meant to say bowl.
It's better that you didn't.
Nut in the butt.
Was funny.
So after you spray all the bolts with PB Blast, you should wait for it to set so that it can do its thing. And while we're waiting for it to set, we're gonna remove the O2 sensors. So like I was saying, there's O2 sensors on the OEM headers that you need to move on to the new headers. There's 2 of them, and in order to remove them, you first start by unclipping them here in the engine bay. So we have the hood open, and all you have to do is, this is when they're together, you push a clip right here in the back and pop these 2 separate. So if Mitchell, if you could step over here, I'm gonna show you guys how to do it on this one. So first I pop them off of this bottom clip right here so that I could have more access to them. And then you push this right here in the back. And just like that, you undo the O2 sensors. So now you have to follow the wire as it goes down the engine bay, and on the cam cover of the car, there's little clips that go into the cam cover to hold the wire in place. So you have to remove it from those clips, so that way when you remove the OEM headers, the entire system, meaning not only the O2 sensor but also the wire that goes up to the top of the engine bay, will all fall down with it. So if you see, I'm taking the flathead screwdriver and I'm putting it in between the connector and where it's being held, and you just shimmy it out. And there you go. So you just do that for the length of the wires, both this one and the other sensor. The last thing that you need to do before you can actually remove the OEM headers, after you've done PB Blast sprayed and remove the O2 sensor lines, is you have to remove the catback exhaust from the front pipe. Now, in order to do that, you need two 14mm, one like a socket and one a wrench. This other way around. Wrench, socket. Oh my god. And you also need to remove the hanger that is right next to the catback exhaust, so this way the front pipe and the overpipe can sway, so that when you remove the OEM headers, they can move out of the way and you can drop them, if that makes sense. So now we can actually get to removing the OEM headers. And in order to do that, you need to remove 8 14mm bolts. Now the 14mm bolts can't be removed with just any 14mm socket. They need to be removed with a very long socket so that you can reach around the screw, because the bolt is on a screw and it's about up to here, and you need to be able to reach all the way through here to get access to the bolt. So in order to do that, you need a very long socket, and then on top of that, you need a very long extender, because you need to be reaching through the headers in order to access the bolt. So very long socket and very long extender, but hopefully you'll be able to have this stuff in your garage. You don't need to run to the store. I use 2 different converters in order to build this, but it works, so.
So we're actually using the jack to hold up the headers while he undoes the other
Undoes.
2. Yeah.
Undo.
Well, oh. Well, you want? Yeah. No, what? I said while he undoes.
Well, oh.
If I were to say while you undo.
Shut up, Mitchell.
While he undoes the other 2 bolts.
Oh my god. So these are what the OEM headers look like. So like I was saying, under the car, as you can see, these are huge in comparison to the new ones, because there's about a 10-pound difference between these two. So now we're gonna start removing these sockets right here. These are the oxygen sockets I've been talking about, and then we're gonna install them on the new ones and then put in the new headers, and then we're done. So this right here is the special socket I was talking about that you need in order to remove the O2 sensors. So this is, I believe it's a 7/8 or a 22mm, but it also has this opening right here, so you can run it through the wire. So through the wire, down to here. I just hit the camera. So now we're going to install the O2 sensors on the new headers, and just a reminder, the lighter colored, this is gray or white, this one goes farther away from the exit, and the darker colored end goes closer to the exit. So what I mean by that is, if you look at the headers right here, the lighter one goes to this one that's farther from this exit, while the darker one goes closer to the exit.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
Okay, can you put a screw in? So we're done with the install. Like I said, putting everything back was almost as simple as taking everything out, so pretty much just do everything that you did originally in reverse. The only issues that I ran into was there was 2 O2 sensors. One of them was too short to put back into the original connectors on the engine bay. So you know how you had to unclip it from the engine bay with 2 little connectors? It was not long enough to plug those originally back in. So what I did was I used electrical tape to tape the wire of that O2 sensor to the other O2 sensor's wire, so that way it was not touching any of the engine bay parts and did not get too hot. It was a little hard to get into some of the spots to tighten up the bolts. I ran into a couple of problems there, but we got everything done. It was just a little bit of a pain in the ass. Regarding the install, on itself, I think that it was easy, but just kind of tedious. But now, let's see the final product. Let's hear how the car sounds. I'm super excited for this. The car may throw a code because there's a lot more airflow now, but with a quick tune, you should be able to get that to go away. So the headers are done. The car sounds way more aggressive and awesome. Just a heads up, after the install, the car might smell a little bit. Like, it's completely normal to kind of smell like burning plastic and possibly shoot a little bit of smoke. That's normal. It's just like the headers kind of almost setting. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you guys subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. I'll see you guys next time.